to go flames, scores!
I'm going for white out Canada.
It's in!
And they fake it.
Back with speed, scores!
Ah yes, summertime. Surprisingly, it's my least favorite season. Not only do you got blistering hot days and back-breaking yard work, but you also got the great desert of sports. From early June to late August, you'll find 14 weeks of pure boredom. Sure, you might have baseball to help tide you over, and maybe an interesting Cup Series race in NASCAR could help fill the void. But ultimately, you gotta wait until at least the last week of August for college football to start up. So to help save myself and others from the slow but painful death of good sports withdrawals, I'm gonna start breaking down the sport which I have the newest obsession with, college football, specifically with a focus on the Big Ten and my school, Penn State. And as the year progresses, I'll continue to do weekly breakdowns and eventually include hockey on the list, as, in my mind, the coverage of college hockey on YouTube is pretty sparse to me, and I'd like to do something about it. So, as you've probably seen from the title, I'm going to overview the expectations and my predictions for each of the teams in the Big Ten Conference for college football. Let's get right into it, starting with...
Fuck Ohio. Fuck Ohio. Fuck Ohio.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Well, congratulations. You've done it. For the first time since 2015, the Ohio State Buckeyes have once again won the college football playoffs. But I've been seeing the term perfect being thrown around. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here, Buckeyes fans. That season had more of an asterisk at the end of it than an NBA championship between 2020 and 2024. In the first season that utilized the 12-team playoffs, you decided to push your luck as hard as possible in order to not make the playoffs. Sliding into an early season loss against Oregon, getting into a choke-off with James Franklin, and surviving just long enough to squeak out a win, which you then follow up with a complete and total shit show against your bitter rival in Michigan. The fact you were able to compete for the college football trophy was some Mickey Mouse shit in and of itself. You were ranked 8th going into the playoffs. Listen, you won it all, so you get to talk your shit. But pump the brakes a little, because to me, this championship has more question marks than Michigan's before. They went undefeated at least. And this year will be a lot harder for you. A large amount of the roster's gone, including your star quarterback Will Howard. And your defense coordinator is off to the greener pastures of State College. A strong recruiting class does make the blow a little bit better, but until then, buckle up.
We gotta definitely write a song about how we do not diddle kids. Do not diddle kids, it's no good diddling kids.
You were right there. It finally felt like this year was the year. Yes, we had our yearly implosion against Ohio State, but even that loss felt different. It finally felt like we were in control of our own destiny. Drew Aller was slinging the rock like it was no one's business. Tyler Warren was a literal cheat code. We had the best running back duo in the nation in Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, and a defense full of shit wreckers like Abdul Carter, Tony Rojas, Dominic DeLuca, and more. That Illinois game I attended was one of the most electric things I've ever seen. That missed field goal to end the first half made me believe that this was our year. Even when we lost the Big Ten championship, I thought that a home playoff game was better. And it was. Oh boy, it was. That game against SMU, cinema. Boise State might have even been better. But when you really wrote me in was the Notre Dame game. We were in control, running the ball down the Irish's throat. It felt like we could do it all. Then came that dreadful 2-minute drill. I've seen better decision-making and clock management at the intramural fields across the fucking street. But it's over now, and this year does definitely feel different. Many of the impactful juniors we had last year stayed, including, but not limited to, Drew Aller, Katron Allen, Nicholas Singleton, Danny Dennis Sutton, Khalil Dinkins, and more. These have kept the Nittany Lions contending window wide open. And with a recharged offensive line, the best defensive coordinator in the league, and a chip on their shoulders, I expect nothing less than the championship round. Just make sure you have November 1st circled on your calendar, boys. It's time to break the streak.
So, you all set to go hunting?
Oregon is the one Pac-12 team that seemed to find its footing within the Big Ten this year. You had quite a successful season, especially with how many people were downing you at the beginning. That classic you put on against Ohio State started the narrative that you guys were title contenders. And up until the Big Ten championship game, I honestly believed it too, as you walked into Indianapolis and beat the piss out of the Nittany Lions. But after that, it fell right apart. Looking to the future, losing your quarterback is hard to come back from, but most of the weapons the Ducks had in 2024 are staying with them through 2025. I believe that the Oregon Ducks will continue to step forward, and I still have them making the college football playoffs.
Meeting the friendly folks who make up the heart and soul of our country. Hello, we're from the Northeast.
Ah yes, the dark horse of 2024 Big Ten play. The Hoosiers had a pretty successful year, especially for how they managed to stay under the radar for so long. Their only regular season loss came to the eventual winners in Ohio State, and if it weren't for Penn State only losing by 7, Indiana could have been in the Big Ten championship. That's not to say that this year will not be hard for them. That loss to Notre Dame showed that you have some pretty glaring flaws, especially in your defense. Losing a bunch of starters on both ends of the ball doesn't help either. But regardless of those facts, I still believe Indiana has a chance to do something pretty special this year.
Oh, damn it, Peter, that hurt.
Relax, Quagmire. You're doing better than Peter Weller from the opening scene of RoboCop.
Illinois last year had what I consider to be an above-average season. Having 3 losses on a season doesn't seem too bad, especially when one of those was to the semifinal team in Penn State, at Penn State, in a makeshift whiteout game. And the other one was to the best regular season team in the country in Oregon. But then you gotta count the weird home loss to Minnesota, and the especially interesting 50-49 win over the bottom feeder Purdue in overtime. But because you ended your season on a win over a fringe playoff team from the SEC in South Carolina, I still believe you could go bowling at the end of this year. Although just remember, don't give any teams bulletin board material at all. It didn't work out for you last time.
Hey kids, feeling run down from all the chemo, spinal taps, and general malpractice-worthy doctoring? Sounds like you need some critical love stat. Say hello to the intensive care bears.
The Hawkeyes last year were not the best team, let's be honest. They played one ranked opponent in the regular season, Ohio State, and got their asses kicked in by them. They also lost 2 Big Ten games and an out-of-conference game to Iowa State. While that alone isn't very good, there could still be some improvement, as almost the entire roster is sticking around. We'll have to see how new quarterback Mark Gronowitzki does in the system, but I do think that Iowa can take the next step. Whether they have a chance at the college football playoffs or not ultimately depends on if they'll be as bipolar as they were last year. I think old habits die hard, but only time will tell.
What, you think this is a game of kickball on the playground? You never had a chance to defeat me, fool! And you know why?
Because you cheated?
No, not because I cheated.
If you were to look up the word inconsistent in a dictionary, you will find a picture of the 2024 Michigan Wolverines. To go from losing to unranked Washington in an absolute snooze fest to then completely embarrassing your sworn rivals a month and a half later is very interesting. Couple that with the facts that the Wolverines ended their season by beating the whining bitches known as the Alabama Crimson Tide and retained most of their roster, Michigan had what I consider to be a pretty successful season. Then there's the elephant in the room. Bryce Underwood, in my mind, adds at least 2 more wins to this Michigan team. I believe that after a slow start and losing to an SEC team on the road, Michigan will finish unbeaten in the rest of the games and meet the Nittany Lions of the Big Ten Championship. Just this year, make sure to keep your eyes on your own paper, eh, Sharon?
Oklahoma, Arkansas, Minnesota.
The Golden Gophers last year, to me, felt like wasted potential. They lost 3 of 5 to start the year, then went on a 5-game winning streak that included teams like Illinois and USC, but then they couldn't hold on to it at the end, losing an away game to Rutgers and at home to Penn State. Yes, a bowl win against Virginia Tech isn't something to write off, but I honestly was expecting more of Minnesota the year before. And with an almost entirely replaced offensive line and special teams unit, I'm going to need to see more before I give them anything else.
I gotta get out of here.
Oh, you're a whore! You ruined my life, you whore!
I guess I'd better go.
Yeah, why don't you just get the fuck out of here? How about that?
Just in case.
For when you want to fuck. Yeah.
Last year, in my mind, USC felt similar to Minnesota. They started with an impressive win over LSU, but then decided to take a ginormous shit over everything and lose 4 out of 5 games in a row between September and October, including an embarrassing loss to Maryland. They were just able to become bowl eligible and did take down a good Texas A&M team. This year, I do see a small step taken for the University of Southern California. If it's enough to win another bowl game, it's going to be up to the players to fight for it. I just don't know if I'm ready to trust that offensive line.
Well, I give up. What's the catch?
Oh, no catch. Although we are technically in New Jersey.
Not one place even remotely livable.
You know, for the place that invented football, you'd think they'd be a little better at it. Rutgers played one ranked opponent last year, and that was the 25th ranked Illinois Fighting Illini in Week 11, which they lost 38-31. Sure, you can look at their 4 starting wins, with Akron, Virginia Tech, an FCS school, and the Washington Huskies, but then they lose 4 straight, killing any chance of them having a successful season. I'm making a bet that with a new defense and a system that did not work last year, Rutgers is going to be stuck where they are for a while. in neutral.
Okay, memorize these funny place names. Walla Walla, Keokuk, Cucamonga, Seattle.
Stop it, you're killing me.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The Huskies were on cloud 9 2 years ago. Now they're falling apart. While Washington did have some noteworthy wins last year, including against Michigan, UCLA, and USC, you can't overlook the losses to Washington State, Rutgers, Iowa, and the thrashing they received on Whiteout Night at State College. And looking at their depth chart, it's only going to get worse from here. While I could see them squeaking out a win or two against an opponent like Wisconsin or UCLA, I don't really see this season as being a success.
Know this. Yes, I was on the sex island, but only for the snorkeling. I didn't know anything about the kid stuff. No.
Yikes. All I can say is yikes. 2021 seems so far away for Spartan fans. A string of bad teams has led Michigan State to one of its worst rosters in a while, and I believe it's going to get darker before it gets to dawn. When you're losing to teams such as Boston College as a supposed frontrunner in the Big Ten, something is going wrong with your season. And with the sparse additions to the roster, I can't see Michigan State winning much this year. Maybe you'll get lucky against Michigan. They might drop another punt.
So, anybody see any good movies lately?
Not really, no.
Oh. You read any good books?
Nope.
No. Nope. Anything new with corn?
Oh, yeah, corn.
Corn.
Oh, yeah, corn. You bet.
Corn.
Absolutely.
Corn is always interesting.
The Cornhuskers were definitely a tale of two seasons. The first half, they were on a roll, with a notable win coming from beating Deion Sanders in Colorado. A loss to the Fighting Illini of Illinois in overtime spoiled a 6-game win streak. But then, they fell off a cliff. Their only wins of the rest of the regular season were against Wisconsin and Boston College in the Pinstripe Bowl. The one thing the Cornhuskers do have, however, is that their rosters does seem to be on the up and up. They have a proven quarterback and some receivers to help them out, and their defense seems to have only gotten better through the transfer period. But for playoff football to return to Nebraska, don't hold your breath.
Bruins! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
As unfortunate as it is for Bruins fans everywhere, UCLA is following the path of their NHL namesake in Boston. A once proud organization, slowly dying at the hands of mismanagement. Last year was honestly pathetic. Seriously, who scheduled their final game to be an out-of-conference team like Fresno? This year, I think it's going to get worse. Not only do you have to play 3 of the highest-ranking Big Ten teams in Penn State, Ohio State, and Indiana, but their out-of-conference games aren't cakewalks either, with Utah, UNLV, and UNM making an appearance. This is going to get rough.
They got rides, games, and ethnic food cooked horribly by white Americans.
Tacos! Hot tacos here! Oh, are those tacos? You better believe they're tacos! I love tacos, especially on a corn tortilla. Oh, I love tacos on a corn tortilla!
Wisconsin is definitely an interesting team. They're much better than some of the teams on this list, but they have the hardest schedule in maybe the entire FBS conference. Not only do you got Ohio State at home, but they have to face Michigan, Oregon, Indiana, and Alabama, all on the road. Some other games include a home bout versus the Fighting Illini and an away game at Minnesota. If Wisconsin had, say, Ohio State's schedule, they might have a chance to make a 12-team playoffs. But with this star-studded schedule, it's going to be a bloodbath in Madison, that's for sure.
Artists who can't sing versus artists who can sing.
Can't remember how to say your
The Wildcats are in a rough situation right now. The only wins in the conference last year they had were against Maryland and Purdue. A general lack of offense and a defensive scheme that doesn't work against heavy-hitting opponents has made Northwestern easy pickings for the rest of the Big Ten. I do believe there are some starting points. A completely retooled offensive line and wide receiver weapons allow Northwestern to hopefully become competitive in a couple years. This year, it's not looking too hot.
Hey guys, how you doing? Come on in.
No.
Just go around it. He's not gonna hurt you. Just go around it.
No.
Can you believe Maryland and Penn State used to be an actual rivalry? Not anymore, it's not. The Terrapins are horrid, and it's not getting better anytime soon. No offense, lackluster defense, and a culture that seems to just lie down and die? I feel bad for most Maryland fans. Could it get better? Yeah, it probably could, but not for a while. Quick little advice for the Maryland faithful: stick to lacrosse.
Guys, watch out! Joe, what the hell are you... Oh my God! Run!
Well. What can I say about Purdue that has not been said before? The team with the coolest mascot in the Big Ten, and probably the entirety of college football, has the worst football team this year. I genuinely believe the Boilermakers are going to go 0-12. Aside from 2022, the last time you guys had a successful year was 1967. That's before the moon landing. I gotta say something here. The Purdue Boilermakers are the Toronto Maple Leafs of college football, if Toronto had been shit the entire 60 years after their last Stanley Cup. Last season was more embarrassing than the time you tried to profit off a public school program. Maybe next time you should not pull a Purdue Global and actually develop your players. And your old coach, Ryan Walters, whose bright idea was to take the defensive coordinator from the fucking Fighting Illini and put him in charge of a supposed high-class football team. What did you expect was going to happen? He was Bill Belichick? The one positive of the season is that you have a new coach. And the season could only happen once. From the bottom of my heart, if you're a Purdue Boilermaker fan, I'm sorry. Well, that was my breakdown for the 2025 Big Ten season. I believe it's going to be a little less top-heavy than last year. The Big Ten championship, in my mind, will be against Penn State and Michigan. Give me the Nittany Lions winning by 5. In the playoffs, Penn State will be the number 1 seed, Michigan will be the 5th, Indiana will be the 9th, and Oregon will be the 12th. Ohio State will be on the outside looking in and could leapfrog Oregon. Really depends on tiebreakers. This could be one of the most entertaining college football seasons in a while, and I'm ready for it. So here's to football, and to the glorious return of Saturdays filled with drinking at 8:30, screaming at young adults at 7:30, and watching the breakdown on Twitter at 10:30. Thank you all for watching, and subscribe for more.